Hello, my friends. How about bodifying your first responses to this new year? Just take a moment to your responses, your intentions, just take a moment to just bodify all that. Your choices. Oh, yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And I've turned my computer at an angle so that you can see a little gray blob here. That is Greta, one of our cats, who's taken a liking to my meditation chair. So I was over here today on the couch and she was completely oblivious that she was taking it all over. Now, notice by just allowing yourself to be spontaneous, just to ask your body, how do you want to move, and let yourself move spontaneously. Just notice how that affects your sense of aliveness and your vitality this morning. Yeah. So the part of what we're exploring are these very simple things that we can do that make a huge difference to our aliveness, but also to our choice. That when you bring your intention together with action, your consciousness together with action, there's real power in that. And so we think of loop of awareness, our loops and scoops, as being a way of connecting more deeply with ourselves, connecting more deeply with the world. I also think of it as a way of practicing aligning my consciousness with my choices, so that I'm not just sleepwalking and responding to what's going on out there in the world or what's going on my devices. So that's part of what we're up to. And what I wanted to focus on today was bringing intentions to your loop of awareness. So a lot of people think about New Year's as a good time to make resolutions. I like to think of it as a time where I'm lightly gathering my intentions, and I'm letting my intentions float out into the world just with my actions, just with what I'm choosing. And so I'd like to invite you to try on two of my favorite, and then I'd like you to add in your most valued intentions for right now and for this beginning of our new year. So the one that I come to over and over again is appreciation. And appreciation has a lot of baggage because it's been misused and, used like Kleenex, have an appreciation. I appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. But if you're really using appreciation in its most fundamental sense, it's giving sensitive awareness to. And so just trying on, I'm willing to give sensitive awareness to. Just try that on in you and notice, what's it like if I'm intending sensitive awareness? How does that change the way that you're breathing? How does that change your posture? How does that change your vision? So if you were to first give some sensitive awareness to you, where does your awareness land in you? And go ahead and let that land. Because part of what we do when we're not intending is that our attention just wanders around. And it's kind of like in limbo. And so it can get grabbed by whatever has the most charge. But if you actually let it land on something, so does it land like a moon landing vehicle, or does it land like a hug, or does it land like a little spritzer? Notice how your sensitive awareness wants to shape itself around something going on in your body. Like I have a little place that in my back, which kind of signals me when something is out of alignment. And so when I land on it, it's kind of like coming in a parachute and letting the parachute just land. And then I'm simply listening. So for me, sensitive awareness has to do with whole body sensing, whole body listening. So I want to invite you to apply that to some part of your body. And for most of us, when I say notice something going on in your body, most people will look for something that's wrong. And so that's one of our attention habits. So what if you let your sensitive awareness land on something in you that's a little bit different? So a place that you don't usually land, or a signal that you don't usually listen to, and letting it land. I was thinking about, so in a moon landing, you have that little bit more, you have less gravity. So you have more buoyancy. So, but you might also want to drill in and just really be there in a very pointed way. So the way you can use your action of giving attention to you with the intention of sensitive awareness. And then I'd like you to let your awareness turn to the outside and give your sensitive awareness to something out there. Like my awareness is going out really to our whole yard, which if I were to modify our yard, it's going because we got rain. And so the yard is just na, 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 na. So when you let your awareness go out and you let it land, let yourself then receive the qualities, the vibration of what you've just given your attention to. And as I let my awareness first, then that sensitive awareness to me, and I'm aware of I'm wearing velvet this morning, and I'm aware of the quality of the velvet against my skin. So when you're letting your awareness circulate, just do that a few times at your own pace, between sensitively aware of something out there and then deliberately turning your attention toward something going on in you. And then we're adding in the responding to that. So we're intending and then responding, and intending and shifting, and then responding. So let that go on for a few cycles. And as I do that, I notice that I can feel my breath spreading out more horizontally. I'm feeling more breath moving in my back, beginning to feel more spirals in my body. So it's a general kind of waking up, spreading out into savoring. Savoring, I've declared my best and most important job this year is savoring. So if you guys see some others of you, excellent. Thanks, Eddie. So Edie, so as you're circulating, notice that you can be aware of you, and you can be aware of the outsides and be aware of you, and that circulation is your vitality engine. So as you circulate your attention, especially if you bring an intention to it, the thing I notice is that I'm amplifying my aliveness in a very sweet and gentle way. So I'm filling my own inner reservoir that I can then draw on. So sensitive awareness, which I like to use actually instead of appreciation, because I want to come to the fundamental experience of what is it when I'm giving appreciation. I'd like you to now shift to getting curious, because it's amazing how often we bring our attention to something with an already circulating, oh, I knew that already, or a judgment, or I've seen that before. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, that was, ugh. Rather than an oh. And I want to take a moment. I'm going to move out of full screen for a moment because I want to read you. Oh, actually, Michelle, you could just put it up on the screen. I want to share with you a quote from William Blake that I discovered, and I'll read it to you. Oh, here it is. And we are put on earth a little space that we might learn to bear the beams of love. Let yourself just respond to that for a moment. I'm going to read it again. And we are put on earth a little space that we might learn to bear the beams of love. So I think most of us are not, so we can take that off. Thank you so much. I think humans are not very skilled at receiving and receiving love. So I want you to think of your attention as a love beam that you can direct outward and that you can direct inward. And the opening that you can choose to let that beam arrive is getting curious. So try on the is incredibly reliable for opening up your wonder brain. And it creates all kinds of opening. They're doing more research all the time on the power of the And so I'm really so delighted we landed on that many years ago. And as usual, science, I don't have to do the research, just get to enjoy the actual practice. So if you and let your attention move out, and you and let your attention move in, for me, that opens curiosity. And curiosity together with appreciation are the two guides that I find make the most difference for me in locating myself and also being open to the nourishment of connection. So I'd like you to share that with people who are on the call here. So I'd like you to let yourself and send a love beam out to somebody, especially somebody you don't know on the call, and let that kind of swirl around them and land on them. And then I'd like you to imagine that somebody's doing that with you and love beaming you, and then opening to where would you most like to receive that and letting that come in. You can also use your love scoops to let that land even more for you in any places. Like I'm coming to the middle of my back here. And so I've got one hand on my chest and one hand on my back. Letting your attention circulate with the love beams, and see if you would be willing to expand your capacity to not just give, because I know you're all great givers, but to receive. To receive. And I'd like you to look around and see, is there anybody else that you're inclined to, oh yeah, giving some love beams out. And with the hum and bringing it back to you. Wonderful, wonderful. So let me pull up our Presence Connect play and see what we've got for today. See, where's my Present Connect play? Okay, where'd you go? All right, I am not finding, I think my tech, I've been having tech issues. Things have been disappearing. So Michelle.
I can pick one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Michelle, would you pick one, please?
All right, here we go. So presence, notice you breath and sensations, notice others, and it says, and room.
And room. I think that notice others and the room.
Oh,
That's what that means. So,
got it.
Or we could go room.
I was a little confused.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we were just doing, of creating curiosity, noticing others and noticing you. So one way I like to play with that is using my hands, because it reminds me I'm still here. So I'm not just letting all my attention flow out. So I can actually let that circulation happen very easily. That includes me, and it includes others, includes the room, and includes others. All right, beautiful. And what's our connect for today?
Reflect feelings.
Reflect feelings. So very often when we're interacting with another person or just beginning to interact, there's this little sensing thing that we're doing of how are they feeling? But very often we don't say, oh, grumpy today, or, oh, look, somebody's looking sad, but we don't say that. So I want to invite you to look at some folks on the call here and let yourself notice what might they be feeling. And if I were to reflect that, how could I do that without even using words? How could I reflect that in my presence? How could I reflect that in my intention? How could I just love scoop toward them with my intention? Yeah, beautiful. Great. And what's our play today? What's our additional play today?
Yeah, that's right. Chunk, fewer words.
Always in favor of fewer words. So chunk, I used to be really the master of the run-on sentence. In fact, that was the main reflection that I got when I was in school, was that I would eventually get to the point, but I was like a bumblebee, and I go round and round and round and round. And when I learned to chunk, just that sentence. So I'd like you to tune in to you, and I'd like you to have one out breath chunk on what you're experiencing, like solid, flowy. That's my chunk. So your chunk, if you're wanting to say it out loud, since you're muted, you please do. If you're wanting to just feel that. So chunking, very often we don't want to know the whole genealogy of something, just the chunk. The chunk allows us to locate. All right, beautiful. So I'm going to now move on to enjoying all of the things that we've been playing with today. And thank you so much for showing up, and thank you so much for being in the community, and much love to you all. And you're welcome to stay and chat, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.
Thank you.